Good morning. Well, I am at LiquidSpring in Lafayette, Indiana. Pickup's going to get a little suspension work done on it. It's Monday morning, June 30th, so I'm going to get the bike out of the back and we'll move on from there. So stay tuned. Alright, just like that, the bike's unloaded and it's sitting over there. When we first started, we used to tow a Jeep Wrangler, Jeep Rubicon. It was 2015. I actually towed that behind my pickup, old pickup and camper, and then when we got the Dynamax, we started towing it behind the Dynamax. Towed great, great system. We towed it back and forth across the country multiple times. But then we decided to trade it off and we upgraded to the Bronco. Love the Bronco. Towed great, same thing. Towed it back and forth quite a bit. And then when we decided to go full time, one of the things I was going to miss having the motorcycle with me, and I hated just to put it in storage. So I had been doing some looking into ways to tow the motorcycle with the motorhome and still have a tow vehicle. We looked at a bunch of different lifts, some hydraulic lifts that actually hooked to the back of the motorhome, some mechanical lifts that hooked to the back of the motorhome. None of those really seemed like they would work very good with our motorhome because we had such a long tail swing on the back of the motorhome. So I looked at a bunch of big enclosed trailers and other trailers that I could put both the Bronco and the motorcycle in, but by the time we got such a long trailer to fit everything, we'd be 75 feet long, and I really didn't want to be that long all the time. And then when we go boondocking in places, we'd have to deal with pulling the trailer in, unloading it, and finding a place to store it. At some of the RV parks we went to, I found this Neodyne lift, which we showed other videos on, that I could put the motorcycle in the back of the pickup. So for the last 10 months, that's what we've been doing. We've been towing the pickup behind the motorhome with the motorcycle in the back of it. And we figured we'd do that for a season, and then we'd tow the Bronco for a season. But over this last 10 months, we've actually enjoyed having the pickup and the motorcycle. The only downfall is the pickup rides a little bit rougher on the off-roads, but we took it on quite a few off-road trails. There's been a few times that it would have been nice that if I had a little bit more suspension. I started looking into other suspension systems, and I was talking to our friend Tom, who has the Max Roamer, Dynaroamer. He has liquid suspension on his motorhome, and he was saying how amazing it was. So as I was researching that, I found out that LiquidSpring now has a adventure truck package for the F250s, F350s, and that size vehicles. So I reached out to LiquidSpring and said, hey, is that something that you could set up where it would be active while we're flat towing down the road? Because that's the biggest thing. Normally they're active when the ignition's on or the truck's running, but I still need the active suspension when it's towing down the road with the motorcycle in the back and everything. So they said they thought that was something they could work out, and we worked out a deal with them to come out here to Lafayette to get it installed, and that's what we're going to do today. We partnered with LiquidSprings. They gave us a discount on parts and helped us with the installation, but this was still a big investment for us, and all opinions are our own.
Hello everyone, I'm Eric Garcia here at LiquidSpring. Getting ready to do a 4-inch lift on this truck here, front and rear. I got Scott here next to me. This will be his truck. This will be basically go through everything, see how the suspension is installed, and you kind of see the ins and outs of it, what it takes to build one of these things. Next, and we'll just do a quick walk around. That's my basically drop off checklist. So,
perfect.
First question that I normally ask everyone is, do you want to keep any of the suspension that we take off of this?
Nope, I don't have. We travel full time, so I have no place to store it. So,
okay.
Unfortunately.
And then, so just do another quick walk around. Make sure I don't notice anything that stands out. Okay, I don't notice nothing that stands out. All right, so next we'll just do a quick test drive. We always do it before and after test drive. Make sure we don't notice anything unusual, any rattling, vibrations that's not normal.
Sure.
And also checking alignment. So I'll get up to highway speeds and up here on 52, and I'll let go of the wheel, see if it drifts anyway, because with the 4-inch lift, we'll put a new pitman arm, so we'll try to get as close as we can back to straight.
Perfect.
So that's it. So next we just take it on the test drive.
Perfect.
Scott, maybe while we're in between, you can tell us, you said you haul your Harley with this.
Yes.
You kind of go off-roading a little bit, it sounded like. What are some of the things that you don't like about the current setup that you're trying to fix or mitigate?
Yeah, currently with these, the original 37-inch tires I had on it were 1150 wide, and we went up to the all-terrain 1250s. We got a little bit of rubbing now with just the 2.5-inch lift, so I kind of wanted a little bit more lift on that. But the biggest thing is just the smoothness of driving off-road. We like to go on all the trails, and I know it's not going to be a rock crawler or anything like that, but I like to be able to go down the trails and not get beat to heck. And once we get all the weight out of it, it's a 1-ton suspension, and it's way smoother than some of the older vehicles, but it's a 1-ton suspension, and it'll rattle your teeth a little bit. So we're hoping that the rumors that we heard was that by putting this on here, it'll be as smooth as an F-150. So we're hoping that that's what's going to happen, and that's one of the biggest things. The leveling also, being able to raise and lower it, like if we're going over some things, we want to be able to raise and lower it, and lowering it is actually a nice thing for loading my motorcycle. It'll make it a little bit lower to the ground, so when I load the motorcycle, it'll be a little bit easier to get it in and out, or if I'm not on an exactly level surface, I'll be able to adjust that a little bit. I'm hoping to make it easier to load the motorcycle.
So Eric, from your experience, what are some of the things that Scott should see after he gets the LiquidSpring installed?
The biggest things that most people say right away, the noise levels, the vibrations, like going over those bumps there, see how harsh it is. But that's the biggest thing, that is just the noise levels and the vibration. It's a much quieter ride. When we get every vehicle, when it gets the suspension installed. And then after that, you get the handling improvement. That's one of the biggest things. And the other is you'll catch yourself actually driving faster, just because how much smoother and quieter it is. You get so used to what you're dealing with now with the mechanical lift. You got the harshness, the vibrations. When we get our suspensions installed, a lot of customers drive at a little bit faster rate than what they normally would, just because they don't hear that noise and the vibrations anymore.
Well, we got it in the bay. Got a couple motorhomes that they're doing systems on. We're going to get the lift taken out of the back, and we're going to take the bed off. We just got done with our test drive, and hopefully we'll get started. There's lots of questions this morning, getting everything situated so everybody knows what's going on and getting everything in order. So we're going to get a base weight for it before we take the neodyne lift out of the back. So they're getting the 4-corner scales set up here. Then we'll get the lift out and get the bed off. Up on the scales. I'm just gonna take a picture of his little thing there. There's our stock weights. Perfect. That's a full front suspension in a box. All that's going to go underneath there. That's the whole front end. Hydraulic springs, new arms, accumulators. Nice.
The strut's connected to the dash 10 hose, comes around, goes into the volume. There's a manifold with a rate control valve, and then there's a small section of fluid. Then we roll this around into an accumulator.
Okay.
So fluid on this side, air on this side, and there's a floating piston in between. So the technology, when we started off, we didn't have the nitrogen or the accumulator attached to it. So what we've done is basically all this fluid is available for the strut to ride on, and it's compressible liquid, silicone oil, 6% compressibility. So the basic spring rate with all of this would give us a nice ride. But it takes a lot of oil to give us that soft ride. So typically they were about 36 inches long to give us that quality ride. The reason for the rate valve is we want to change that spring rate. Right. So if you dive into a corner, we jerk that steering wheel, we use a bunch of information to open, close, or pulse width modulate this rate valve. If the valve is open, the strut gets to ride on all the fluid. If the valve is closed, the strut now is only riding on this portion of the fluid. So it's changing that spring rate, that biasing the spring rate. By doing the nitrogen, what we've done is we were able to take out about 50% of the oil that was there and give us that nice ride. Okay. Typically like on an empty truck, right? We can ride on a little bit of that nitrogen on the first part when we're empty. So we get a softer spring rate. We're basically allowing the fluid to compress much easier than it was before. And then as we increase the weight into the bed of the truck, that floating piston is going back, we're compressing that air so that the air and the oil have the same compressibility at that point. So it's just a smooth transition as we add weight, and it's maintaining the same ride frequency through the full range of loading. Okay. Unlike a pickup, typically the ride quality gets better when it's full. Right, exactly. And when it's empty, it's kind of really harsh. Yep. This is the same whether it's full or empty. Okay. So that's the new technology.
Well, so far I'm pretty super impressed with all this stuff. You look at all these parts. Yep. A little bit of everything, anti-chafing, heat shields. Looks like they thought about just about everything. Well, there we have it. Looks a little naked now. That's all the rear. Box of rear. Well, there's a whole lot of parts there. All of those pieces are going to replace all of these pieces. All of the other stuff here, perfect, thank you. Sure, yep. All the bags of parts. All right, well, like I said, the bed's off, and now we're working on getting all of the old suspension parts off. So we'll take the leaf springs, all the brackets, blocks. But in order to get this bolt out here, we got to drop the fuel tank. Yeah. Okay, got the front up in the air. On jack stands, tires off. Starting to dismantle. Our takeoff pallet is starting to fill up. These are all the takeoff parts for the front. Yeah. So on the back here, we got the fuel tank out. Carl's down underneath getting dirty. Oh, no. We get all the
Jack, gonna stay here.
Stuff taken out, go from there. No more springs. Here's the rear takeoff pile. It's starting to build up too. Take off, and then this will be all the new put on. Well, we got day one done and got quite a ways on it. I'm going to come back first thing tomorrow morning, and it was kind of fun. They let me work on it too. A lot of shops won't let owners work on rigs, but because of the doing it this way, it's kind of nice to be able to help out and be part of the team putting it in. So we're going to jump on the bike and head back to the motorhome, and then be back first thing in the morning. It's Tuesday morning. We're back here at LiquidSpring getting things rolling again.
Walk into your shop.
Made quite a bit of move last night, yeah. We got all these brackets put on. Had to take all this loose. That's coming right along. We got the front going. Brackets in here. Those are where the struts are going to hook to. Jacob's at it already. The brake line's moved around. Looking forward to seeing what it looks like by the end of the day. It looks like we have a couple more guys helping us out with it today. So, new heavier duty trailing arms. The new ones are a little heavier than those, huh?
Yeah, these are really light. These are like really thin compared to the other ones.
Yep. And they got a nice little offset, tapered for the lift. New drop brackets in the back for the radius arms. New brake lines, mounts, tucked in there nice. I'm getting ready to put these other brackets in. Got to drill some more holes in the frame. Got this cave member in here. Had to remount my factory wiring harness here. It was kind of in a bracket tucked in the way, so that had to get moved out of the way a little bit, but everything's coming along. These front brackets are going to come up. We got a bunch of holes here to drill in the frame. There we go. We got the new trailing arm on this side. You can see it's got a little spot here for the level adjustment. Got the leveling valve there, height control valve, or height control sensors, I guess they call them.
Yep, there are height sensors.
Height sensor, there you go.
Yes, sir.
Sway bar drop brackets. Looks good.
So you're going to have one of those height sensors on each corner.
Okay.
And you're also going to have pretty much an identical sensor on your pitman arm for your steering.
Perfect.
It'll work the same way, operate the same thing. It's just measuring your steering, obviously,
sure,
instead of ride height.
Perfect. So on the back, we got our lower control arm brackets installed. Had to do some drilling of those holes there. And RJ's getting ready to install the upper control arm bracket. There we got the front sway bar, drop brackets. I'm going to put a drop pitman arm on it next because of the lift. Help with the steering geometry. We're getting that paired up there. We got the lower control arms in. Lower control arms. Nice big bracket over the top. They're getting ready to put in the upper control arm, which will go between there and there. We got the rear struts going in. Those struts will be all the spring and shock and everything all inside that liquid. Well, we're ending day 2. Got a lot accomplished today. Back end looks like it's a suspension again. The 4-link's all in there, just needs to be set and torqued down. Got the front pretty much set up. Just got to finish putting the track rod in there. Gonna run all the hoses and hydraulics tomorrow, I think. But we're getting really close. We'll see what tomorrow brings. So I'm gonna call it a day and go wash up, and we'll see you tomorrow. Well, we're back at Liquid Springs, day 3. We're gonna do a little tour of the facility today while you guys are finishing some stuff up. They're hard at it already. They're getting ready to install the power module first thing this morning. But you can see our parts here dwindling quickly. Then once everything's all in, it's set at ride height, they'll torque all these final bolts down. Run all the hoses and electrical. RJ's gonna install that power control module. The heart of the system. Just like that, there it is hanging in there. Getting ready to go on a tour. Well, that was a fun tour. Now we're back over here to installation, and we'll see how things are going with the pickup. So what we got going over here?
Got done getting the track rod put into its new bracket. Before
Nice.
that, I got the bracket all torqued down and got the gearing sensor installed. Jounce bumpers and volume, about all that's left.
Tightening everything up, getting the Torx ready to do back here. It's all sitting at ride height right now, and everything's getting torqued down. Now they're installing their volumes. It holds all the fluid. So there's 2 of them, 1 for each side back here for the 2 rears, and those are going where my spare tire was. So we won't have a spare tire in here anymore, so we'll just hope that we don't get a flat. Now we're going to get a system for fixing flats on the road. Get a plug kit. So if we need to, in an emergency, if we able to plug a tire. Got the front coming along good here.
Those hoses secured on the back of the jounce bumper there.
Oh yeah.
Make sure to get that breather hose secured on the other side.
They definitely do a good job with hose management. You can see there's a new plate here for the hoses to go through, P-clamps. Everything's nice and clean. I think it's actually cleaner than it was before. They do a good job with hose and wire management. Their engineers have done good thinking of all that stuff. So here's our rear parts. We got 1 volume left. These 2 pieces here are for if you have a rear sway bar, which mine didn't come with. And then these parts here are to stabilize the frame if you don't have the 5th wheel tow package or 5th wheel prep package or gooseneck hitch. Those will replace that, but we got the factory gooseneck hitch, so we don't need to use that. So this gives us stabilization in place of that. So it looks pretty good when you've used up all the parts. There's not leftover pieces. That's a good thing. There we got both of the volumes in place there now. In the heart of the machine, there's the ECM sitting on top. Makes it the smart suspension. And then this is for the front suspension. That's an add-on piece. You can get rear only. It's got heat shield pieces putting around the hoses and lines where it goes near the exhaust. Keep everything in good shape. We're out and all the new wiring harness. Almost looks factory. Yeah, we're getting it. Wiring still connected. Inside, accessing the factory wiring, getting that put in. We'll have a small harness that fits into the Ford customer access point that will give them a brake signal, a speed signal, and an ignition signal. So when it starts up, it'll get the speed and stuff from that. The rest of the sensors comes off their level switches and steering switch. So that's where we're at. Still chugging along, getting there. Slow but surely. Kind of slows down when you get to the technical stuff. All the hard parts are on. Getting ready to reinstall the fuel tank. Get that back up in. We'll get the front tires back on. It'll be time for putting the bed on. Plan is to have it all buttoned up by the end of the day. Hydraulic lines all installed. Nice and neat. We ran the fuel down to 1/4 of a tank, but then they ended up pumping out some more of it just so it would be light enough to handle, because they're going to lift that thing up by hand and put it back in. And just like that, fuel tank's back. You put my fuel back in it. And just like that, it's sitting on its own wheels again. Down on the ground. It's in the lowest possible mode right now. Until they get everything bled out. Some final wiring going in up here. So it's basically sitting at about stock height, probably.
And we're initially pressurizing the aft section. So when you first start the vehicle up, right now the computer thinks it's just a 2-corner unit. So it's only going to fill the rear.
Okay.
Once we start to calibrate, initial calibration, it looks for sensors and they'll find 4, and then we'll pressurize the front. That gets us pressurized. And then we're going to cycle it a couple times, and then we'll do calibrations.
Perfect.
But as we're coming up, we're just building pressure in the back, and we'll see, you know, this is when we start looking for, you know, make sure there's no leaks in the lines.
Put a die.
Looks good. So now we're up at full height now, or ride height?
This would be max height.
Max height?
Looks good.
I'll drop it down to ride height, and then we'll initiate calibration.
Perfect.
So this is our home screen where we've actually been running the system up and down just to get the air bled out of it. Then this is our ride heights, or I'm sorry, ride modes. So normal, comfort, or sport mode. But here we are, we're going to go over here to our maintenance page. And this is where we have our auto calibration. We're going to hit the auto cal button. So do we want to start the cal? Yes. Here we go. You can see the truck dropping. I'm going to go through a sequence of lowering the nose, lowering the tail, raising the nose, raise the tail. And we're checking for the full stroke of the height sensors. We're mapping the sensors to the ECU.
Perfect.
So it knows what its travel is. Yeah, so it goes all the way in the down position, and it sits there and waits for a moment so it sees no motion for a small period of time, and then it says, okay, I've got that number, and now I'm going to raise up, go to the max height, and do that high height. There's 100% of sweep. Based on the 100% of sweep, we've already got hard-coded 5%, 50%, 90%.
Perfect. So here it is, sitting at ride height. So before I had a 2.5-inch lift, this is a 4-inch lift, so that's going to give me a little bit more clearance. Before we were a little tighter here. We got a little bit better clearance there, a little bit more clearance on the front. All right, bed's back on. Right now we're sitting at low height. That's the low setting, not at ride height. That's going to make it a little bit easier to get in and do maintenance on the hood. Not a lot of tire clearance on low, but I think you can only get up to like 20 miles an hour on low anyway. Just finishing up connecting the wires to the tailgate. And we're looking good. Well, we're in the shop, final day here. We've got everybody underneath, checking our clearances, getting the steering straightened out. That's it sitting at its new ride height. It's should be about 2 inches higher than it was. Final adjustments and everything done before we take it out for a test drive.
2 ways to really go through this. This is our, what we call Tru-Earth, auto mode. That'll actually level the vehicle, and then there'll be an exit. You get out of that, go back to normal. We just did this one. That was our maintenance. This one here is system status and diagnostic. This goes through and tells you everything that the computer sees.
Perfect.
Last part is on this one here is this guy here, alert. If anything happens, an alert would come up and it'll tell you what that is and possibly some diagnosing on how to fix it. So connectivity, that's our wireless. So again, the phone app is coming here very soon.
Oh, cool.
You have a phone app, and it'll actually show you everything that we just see on this screen will be duplicated on a phone.
Nice.
So that'll be through Bluetooth. And then the other and about, this is where we get down to updates. Again, when we get the phone app working, you'll be able to Bluetooth and download updates,
Firmware updates
from
or
the cloud
Okay.
into the vehicle. And then this gives us a current version of all the software that's in both the driver interface and the ECU. So Tru-Earth would be the truck is looking at the ECU plane today. If we had a large rake in the truck, that plane is going to maintain that rate. If you want a 0-0, we could cheat it right now by putting blocks underneath the front tires and leveling that out, and then hitting calibration, doing a full cal again. That'll calibrate that plane, and that's kind of how we cheat it. In the near future, again, an update, because there's things we've found, is we'll be able to go in and just tweak that as a separate menu. Adjust that pitch and roll for Tru-Earth. We can actually look at our floor and say, hey, this is where we want it at. Then manual mode's coming. Again, all these functions are still in development. That'll be the page for it. So you've got left, right, front, rear, and individual corners. That's what's coming next release. So that's all part of what we're trying to do, is get that phone app done so we can do it through the cloud and bring all these updates in.
Nice. Perfect.
Yeah.
Excellent.
A lot of stuff coming.
So they're heading out for their first test drive. They got a bunch of calibrations they want to check and go from there. Well, they came back from the initial test drive, and we loaded the motorcycle lift back in the back, so they get all the weights the same. Now they're going to drive it up onto the scales, get a weight after the lift, see how much difference it is.
About 9.5.
That's a little heavier. 94.20. Let's see what we had before and after.
Well, it felt a little bit taller getting into it.
Yeah.
I mean, you could tell it's only, 2 inches?
2 inches.
But you can tell the difference.
So we're at normal ride height and normal ride mode.
Normal height, normal mode.
And then again, we have variations. So if I was going to have something like a high CG, I might want to put it in the sport mode. That means the system is going to be more responsive, faster response, quicker acting. But just as a daily driver, normal or comfort.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'll start with normal and see how that goes.
Normal and just run it.
Tell me which direction to go and
Absolutely. We'll go ahead and go out the back door.
that way. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the first thing I noticed is I got full steering without any rubbing.
Yeah.
That's a good thing. When I switched to these
that extra
little
height.
wider tires, they started rubbing a little bit. So
That little extra height just gives you a little more. Go out the gate and we'll turn right. This is kind of our little course that we run. We'll take you on a little country course through Indiana here.
perfect.
So a lot of the stuff is, again, broken concrete, transitions from asphalt, so we can get a good feel for how it absorbs some of that energy. It should come right around these corners too. Again, the way the system responds to things, we're using steering, speed, brakes, accelerometers to control the variable spring rate.
Okay.
So as we're coming into things at a slower speed, we're not going to ramp up the spring rate as much
Gotcha.
to let the suspension, work in those slow speeds. If you come into it really hard and you pull the steering wheel really fast, that degree and rate of turn helps us ramp up that speed. The algorithm's written for that.
Gotcha.
It's like an evasive maneuver. Somebody got out in front of you and you had to jerk the steering wheel. we ramp up to the highest spring rate. Take it up to about 55 miles an hour. We're going to go over the top of this bridge.
And I remember we did that at 55 when Eric was driving, so.
Steel spring trucks.
Oh yeah, that was way,
This one right here.
that was way less harsh on those ones. And
Yes.
For sure, way less harsh on that. And I could see that when and it does feel different even in the braking. I don't feel kind of the nosedive.
That's exactly what is built into it. So as we apply brakes, we actually apply the rate valves for the front to increase the spring rate to prevent that dive.
Gotcha.
So if you do, like evasive braking, if we get up to when we get around this corner, we'll get on a straightaway. We'll get about 45.
Okay.
And we'll do evasive braking. Most will just make sure that we're not doing any pull left or right. Hang on, though.
You good? A little pull there, but not much. Slight drift there.
Yeah, slight drift with the nose.
But the nose was, it was dead level.
Stays level. Yeah, that actually helps improve your braking distance. You keep that nose flat. I'm sorry, we should turn
here.
right there. Yeah,
We'll
we can make it.
We can make it. That's part of that evasive. Oh yeah,
Exactly.
that was smooth.
Yep,
That was smooth. I think Ashley should be here any moment. So.
Okay. And then we'll jump right back into this with her.
Sounds good. Actually, I think that's her parked next to the motorcycle right there.
Yeah, that feels like my King Ranch.
The F-150. Yep.
Okay, so probably can't use this in your video, but I don't need a sports bra in this car with it now.
Side benefits and everything.
Have that conversation with video.
It's true.
And
This is actually really impressive.
and it's not diving. Is what I'm noticing, like that corner where the other one dove, as braking and turning especially.
All right, I was all set to be like, I don't notice a difference. I do. So the suspension is done on like Tom's dyno roamer,
Right.
Yes, that's correct.
and then other motorhomes too, like Class A's or
I say gas.
oh,
Gas
okay.
classes.
Oh, gas because they're lighter.
Well, big diesel motorhomes. Not sure they need our suspension.
Well, they just have an air ride system on the back of it. So the intent was to try to help those, gas Class A, if they didn't have the suspension available,
Yep.
go to that first instead of displacing the air ride.
That makes sense.
Air rides do a good job, but the difference between the air ride systems and what LiquidSpring would do, you'll actually have a more, call it a stable platform.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of conversation with the air ride systems that there's kind of a lot of body roll, motion in them constantly. LiquidSpring is more connected, and you get the feel of the road just a little bit, so it doesn't have that kind of wandering feel. More like driving a car than it is a big vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we've started off, with our ambulance fleet, and then we actually supply all of the ambulance manufacturers in North America. They all use LiquidSpring as a standard on the Type 1 ambulances, like 550s and stuff. Type 3s, which are like your van nose, we're starting to get a lot of those also. But it got into shuttle buses. All the different states are now using our product for the shuttle buses, low floor shuttles, kneeling to get in and out, better approach angles for wheelchairs, but motorhome stuff is really maturing. Now adventure truck, pickup trucks, off-road, we're supplying General Motors, International, Freightliner, and so it's a factory option on the big medium duty trucks now.
So now on another note, I know some of the concerns, may as well talk since we're here, is, you got all this hydraulic system and now you're out on a trail and you snag a hydraulic line and it gets broke. I know I've got some caps now where I can cap that off, but now you're going to be sagging down on that corner or wherever it is. What kind of situation do you have to do for that?
So the suspension, and like when we did the clearance checks, when we did our post build, is we clearance everything in the down position. We want to make sure steering, your tires, wheels, everything clears all the way down. And the system is set up because it's a 4-link. You can drive out with the suspension all the way down. You'll sit down on the jounce bumpers, the rubber bumpers, but you can get out.
Right.
That's the intent. Is it's always operational, no matter what. Obviously, ride quality is not going to be there, but you're not stuck. You can't drive. Some of the air suspension systems, where like a spring beam system, that air spring goes down, it pinches the pinion so bad you can't drive it. That drive shaft will bind up and it'll snap U-joints. That's not the case with this. The way the suspension is designed, you can drive out. Again, like folks we talked about, if they're going to do like an Alcan run and they have any concerns, you're going to be out in the middle of nowhere for a long period of time. The folks that go to South America, I just tell them take a couple of gallons of fluid. Really, a gallon is all you need. A gallon of fluid, and take maybe one of the longest hoses, and you have something you can get done on the side of a road. Change the hose out and put fluid in it, and you're off and running again. Again, the hoses are standard hydraulic hoses. They're called JIC fitting. So those are relatively easy to have a hydraulic shop. Anywhere in the country can make one.
And you guys have I know you have a few other authorized dealers or service people. Do you have multiple around the country, or
We
just
have
a few here or
hundreds.
there? Hundreds?
Yeah, because of our ambulance fleets, we've been doing this for 12 years, and we've got roughly over 40,000 suspensions on the road. So there's a lot of facilities that can, help out. Between our ambulance, shuttle bus, motorhome, Ford dealerships. We've got a lot of, because we supply so many Fords, we probably are doing, probably 2,000, if not more, Fords every year. And the dealerships are selling to those same industries, and they're supporting those vehicles.
Perfect. I mean, because I'm handy and probably would end up doing most of the repairs myself, but I know a lot of other people don't want to even attempt to look to see how it does. I mean,
Right.
To me, that was the best part of doing the build here. For me, was because I got to be hands-on with it and see how everything worked, and that's my personality.
Right.
I want to know how everything works before it goes on the road. So
Right.
This was excellent.
As far as maintenance is concerned, the fluid is good for the life of the vehicle. There's one small desiccant filter that is a thread-on filter, and that is really just to keep the moisture out of the fluid from humid air. So if you're down in New Orleans and Texas and Florida, where you got a lot of humidity,
Right.
if you're actually running the vehicle up and down, you're drawing air in and out of that reservoir tank, and that humid air was condensating.
Okay.
So we found this desiccant to prevent that.
Okay.
So this is over years of, we're looking at our warranty stuff. How do we mitigate any of these problems? We'd seen moisture getting into the system, and it took us a while to figure out where it was coming from. So everything we've engineered out.
How often do you change something like that? Like say you were in Florida for full time or whatever.
So if you're full time, you're probably going to be maybe once a year, once every 2 years.
Okay.
Arizona, where it's dry, maybe 3-4 years.
Perfect.
Yeah, it just changes color, just like a regular desiccant. It'll go from like a purple to pink or pink to purple. I have to look through which way it goes.
Sure.
But yep, just a visual inspection on it.
Perfect.
Again, same thing, visual inspection on the fluid reservoir. Think about that like, I tell everybody, think about it like power steering fluid. If you don't see a drip on the floor, you're fine.
Right.
Yeah. But it's good, just visual inspection.
We got a few add-ons that we're going to be working on for the towing part of it that hopefully will come. Some stuff.
Yes.
They're working on some engineering stuff that'll be added to hopefully in the near future to make it a little bit better where we're flat towing it. But I think it's great so far. Super happy.
Yeah.
It's been a month and a half since we had this installed, and I have to say I'm pretty pleased with it so far.
I'm actually really surprised at how much of a difference it's made.
Yeah. The more we drive it, the more we realize how much more comfortable it is. We took it on some gravel roads. Obviously, it's pretty dirty
It's
right
filthy.
now. But we took it on some gravel roads, some washboarded roads. We didn't film any of that because it wasn't intentional. But it's amazing how it absorbs the bumps and even the washboards. It's night and day difference. So
Yeah, it was actually something I didn't even notice until Scott mentioned, like, this is a washboardy road. I was like, oh, shoot, you're right. It just felt like we were driving on regular roads.
Yep.
It's pretty impressive. We even had one time where there was a student driver.
Yeah. Carl mentioned evasive maneuvers. Well, we ended up having some evasive maneuvers.
Yeah.
And we had a student driver in Tennessee was making
Lord.
a left-hand turn. Was in the left-hand turn lane.
Had a signal on.
Yep, signal in the left-hand turn lane. We started to go by him on the right, and I guess they changed their mind at the last minute and literally ran us off the road.
Yeah.
We went into the ditch to avoid him, and it absorbed that ditch like it wasn't even there.
My heart didn't even like flutter.
Yeah,
it was weird. It was like, whoa, that was smooth.
It was pretty crazy. I got to say, I am pretty impressed, with the way it handled for that kind of stuff. So.
Yep.
So I was able to help a little bit quite a bit with the install. I don't know that would be a normal thing that everybody would be allowed to do, but that was kind of nice. We were told that they are offering these systems that you can purchase them in that big box that we showed you. They can send you that box and with all the pieces and parts, and the directions are really good. But it was a big crew of people that took 4 days to do it. So it's not something that you're just going to do in the weekend by yourself. You're going to want to have some pretty good mechanical knowledge and
some pretty good mechanical friends
and some good friends to help you out, and expect to take a week or at least to do it and follow the directions. They're very good directions, and I think if you follow them, you won't have a problem doing it as long as you have some mechanical ability. There's a few maybe specialty tools that you need to have to get in to do some things, but
so do your homework.
Yeah, do your homework, and but I would highly recommend having it done. I think it's a great system so far.
Yeah, I'm not into suspension upgrades and things like that, so I was like, this is all on you. But I'm actually really impressed, and I actually even asked the question about are you going to build one for a Super C?
Right. Yeah, that's the next hope. We would really nice, especially the front suspension. We got the air on the back, but we got the Leaf-Springs front suspension. Love to have that for the Dynamax.
Yeah. So those of you with motorhomes that are considering it, those Class A gassers. Or a Class C, it might be something to consider.
Definitely worthwhile. And even like people that have fifth wheels and stuff like that, and you're towing them with your pickup, they make a system for just the rear of a pickup where you can put just the rear system in, and that's night or day difference. I mean, you can control that up and down if you're going in and out of awkward situations. I highly recommend it.
Yeah, I mean, you think about people spend all this money to put the suspension on their trailers, on their fifth wheels, all that MORryde and stuff, but why not make your pickup smoother?
Yeah, and most people who drive those pickups use them as their daily driver when they park their motorhomes. So why not have a truck that's comfortable? Why not have your F450 ride nice?
Yeah.
So just my thought.
They did say that there was some updates coming?
Yes. So there are some updates coming, as Carl mentioned in the video. Also, we have a couple things with our towing situation still. They didn't quite get it figured out where it would be active while we were towing. So right now, it will ride on the smooth suspension, but as it drives down the road, the fluid heats up, so it'll actually start lifting up. And what that does is it puts our tow bar at a funky angle. So every 50 to 100 miles, I have to get out, go back, turn the ignition on, and it'll level itself back up and settle back down, and then we can go again. So it's a little annoying, but we talked with Carl just yesterday, I think it was, and he said they have the fix coming. They actually have a software update that's going to take care of the problem, and it should be, they're just working a couple bugs out, and he said he should have it to me in the next couple days.
So that's exciting.
Yeah.
And it shows that they're constantly improving and working on things. And keep in mind the adventure truck is one of their newer.
It's one of the newer things, absolutely. And I don't know a lot of people flat tow full size trucks like this. I mean, there's some, but not a lot of it. So that's kind of a niche kind of market too.
Yeah.
So,
but maybe more will start once they see how easy it is to do it.
He did mention that there was a app that was going to come out, and it might Bluetooth. I actually happened to look, and there is an app they've got an app available now. I don't know that it works yet. It's probably just their prototype app, but that tells me that it is in the process and it's on its way to being something. We have a full tour video coming out. It'll probably be out within a week of this one coming out. It's just about ready to release, but it was just made this one too long. So make sure to subscribe and you'll see when that comes out. Hit the notification bell and it'll ding you right when that comes out.
It's actually really interesting, even for like non-mechanical people like me. So I enjoyed it.
Yeah. And then we're going to be doing some off-road driving with it. We'll make sure we get some more of that video recorded and show you some of how it does. And we'll continue to give you updates as we get updates and as we get software updates. So hope you enjoyed the video.
Yeah, that was me doing my little off-road stuff, by the way. But I forget, in that it's probably not quite as much. But
right.
Make sure you like this video, and it really helps us out. Leave us a comment. Is this something that you would consider, or you have any questions?
Absolutely. Any questions,
he'll answer it.
We'll make sure to give you as much as we can, answer anything we can for you. So thanks again for watching, and hope you enjoyed.